All right, dude, kick this off. I'd like to welcome everybody to this interview with Jacob. Introduce yourself, my friend, and tell everybody what you're all about.
My name is Jacob Lyon. I'm 23 years old. I grew up in Perth, Ontario. I'm sure a lot of you probably haven't heard of that, but it's near a little town outside of Ottawa. But right now I live in Coburg, close to more family and friends.
Yep.
I did my first competition, the CPA, recently in the last, I think it was 3 weeks ago, the Legends Cup in Burlington. First competition, tough.
Yeah.
But you got to attempt it. Like you have it in your mind to try it out, and
There's always going to be that first one.
yeah, the first one's the tough one. Like it took me so long to actually get my head wrapped around and be like, oh, I want to do this. I was pretty scared in the beginning, but once I did, it was the best thing I ever did, and now it's kind of just launched me into this new motivational field that I just got to take advantage of. So.
That's sick, man. So start with that then. Tell me about kind of your process to getting on stage that first time. Like for me, for example, I was a solid year and a half of I'm gonna do it and then I don't do it. I'm gonna do it and I don't do it. And mind you, you're what, 23? You said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was 19 at the time, so I was a little bit younger, but still, it's that same fear of I don't even have any muscle. What am I doing? Tell me about your experience with that.
Yeah. So. It more started because of hockey, and once you kind of get up in the higher ranks, the gym and being fit is a big thing,
yep.
Right? So that's kind of where the love for the gym started, and then I found Steve Cook. Actually, he was the first person I ever found online, right when he was kind of doing his thing with bodybuilding.com.
Yep.
So I kind of got my head wrapped around what the fitness industry was, and I saw him competing, and I was like, oh, I want to do that, but obviously at the time you're like, oh, I also don't want to be on stage with out a shirt on. The mentality for that was a little different back then.
Yeah, for sure.
But as the time went on, I started realizing that if I wasn't going to do it now, when was I going to do it?
Exactly.
It's just going to keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, right? When I had the passion to do it.
Yeah.
So I eventually, all the chips kind of fell in one spot, and I actually went to the Toronto Pro Show.
Okay.
And with kind of the idea of I wanted to do a show, but I wasn't sure yet, right?
Yeah.
And then I actually got to meet Flex Lewis.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. That was a good opportunity. So then I kind of talked to him about it, and some of the stuff he was saying, man, just threw me off into this motivational distance that I've never been into before.
Yeah. What did he tell you?
How he was basically saying that you can't worry about everybody else, because my problem was I was worried that I wasn't going to be good enough.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing. So he said you can't really worry about what you're going to look like now, because some other people might not look as good.
Yeah.
But some people might look better, so you never know, right? So kind of just having that mindset of I just have to, put my head down and worry about myself.
Yeah.
Kind of just made me realize that I can put in the work and I might actually succeed or I might fail, and either way, it's gonna teach me something. So
yeah, that's the one thing that I love about bodybuilding, that is it's all you, right? You do the workouts, you eat the food, you do your cardio, and at the end of the day, when you're on stage and you did it, that's the part that's cool. You're in control. Whereas hockey, for example, for you, right? It's a team thing. You have your role, but as a team, you guys have all got to be a unit, right? Yeah. So if one person's screwing up, then it's it's his fault or my fault or whatever. Whereas bodybuilding, it's if you screw up, it's on you, right? That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's nice because it keeps kind of that competitive aspect there. But it also is all on you. So if you fail, then it's oh, I messed up. No one else messed up. So.
Yeah. So how long was your first prep?
My first prep was only 11 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of just a spur of the moment thing. I kind of, once I got that in my mind that I wanted to do the show, I found the closest show, right? Because it's I'm lean enough. When I wasn't.
Yeah.
So 11 weeks probably wasn't long enough, but it really challenged me in the later weeks. As I started getting down, and then I realized that I wasn't actually where I thought, and that I held more fat in my lower body, so I had to kind of work with that too.
Yep.
But it was good. 11
You
weeks.
You had a coach, correct?
Yeah, so for the first half of it, I coached myself.
Okay.
And then I met a guy that's from Coburg, actually, that competes in men's physique.
Okay.
He actually competed in the Toronto Pro Show as well, so he's kind of more national level shows, trying to work for that program.
Yep.
And he kind of, like, I contacted him, and we kind of worked together the last 5 weeks, and he kind of implemented different things, because I did more of just your macro counting, right?
Yeah.
Flexible dieting kind of thing, which I everybody knows about, especially in the fitness industry. You can learn it from anybody.
Yep.
But he implemented more of like the carb cycling stuff.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I didn't know a lot about it, so it was kind of new territory to me.
Yep.
But it seemed to help out a lot in the beginning, like to really burn the fat off. It helped.
Cool.
And then kind of as we got lower, it got a little more difficult because you're running on like nothing.
Yeah.
And I found a lot more success too in the beginning, still having carbs there. So it's kind of an experiment, right? Like trying one thing, trying another. And the first show, we were just like, we pretty well have to wing this because
you don't know how your body's gonna respond. You don't know what it's gonna do. Even now, like I've done 6 or 7, 8 shows, and like we still try things like with water and like trial runs with like a peak week and see how your body like. I like interviewed a guy who's been competing for 15 years and he still tries shit. So I mean, you just learn.
It's pretty difficult. Like you can try all you want, but I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that you can only, some people only really hit that optimal peak in their career like a few times, and then the other times it's good, but it's not like this
great.
Crazy like separation that you can get. So I mean, we'll try different things next time. I mean, I have that competition bug now. Like you do want competition, it's there
for sure.
So we'll see next time. We'll try a few different things.
That's awesome. Are you going to use the same coach probably?
Yeah, that was my idea because he's local, right? So it's easier to do check-ins and stuff. He can see me in person. Whereas like sometimes you're getting up at like 3 in the morning because you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta take pictures. It's like,
So what did your weight go from through your prep? Like, what'd you start and get down to?
Yeah, so I started my prep at 188, and through doing just the diet myself, before I got with the coach, right, I was down to like 177 or something. And for my weight class that I wanted to make, it was 176 and a quarter.
Okay.
So I was pretty well there. But 5 weeks out, I didn't think I over dieted, but I was like shredded at 5 weeks. Like probably shouldn't have been at that point.
Right.
So when I got back to the carb cycling, it kind of filled me out a little. Like it brought my weight back, and it actually made me grow into the show. Like when we were a few days out from the show, like 3 or 4 days, I was like 182 in the morning. So I pretty well like went almost back to the weight that I started, but it was all water. Like I like my lower body holds a lot of water, so the last few days was like easy, like 6.2 days or something crazy.
Right.
But my weight went up, and I don't know if it was because I was eating more and like still going back to training, because I switched my training up at the beginning. I think it messed a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
So I went back to what I knew, and with kind of the more food at 5 weeks, I think it really brought my weight back to where it had to be.
Cool, right on. So tell me about training a little bit. So you basically just said you switched everything up. So what did that involve?
So in the beginning, I was doing more of like a 3-day split. Like that was kind of my off season before, and that would just be like one strength day was a push day, and then the other push day was more a hypertrophy. So it was the best of both, right?
Okay.
But as I got into prep and I started dieting down, I realized that my legs were a lot bigger than my upper body.
Okay.
As it started coming off. So I was like, okay. So that's when I kind of switched things to doing like my chest and triceps were twice a week.
Yep.
My biceps were twice a week. Shoulders I only did once, but I threw in some shoulder stuff on chest day.
Right.
And the reason for that is because they're more dominant for me.
Yep.
And in doing that, I could kind of focus more on bringing my upper body up, and my legs would still get the 1 day a week.
Yep.
Right. And that worked over time, but then my upper body started kind of catching up, and then my legs, I feel like by the end of prep, they were just like, didn't get better. Like they were just there.
They were just there. Right.
So, I mean, I tried to switch it up the last 5 weeks and do like just quads and just hamstrings.
Yep.
Kind of switching that up, and that seemed to work a lot. But
yeah, that I run that, and I like being able to hit a little bit more volume on each day versus trying to cram it into one, because it's a lot. Like it's like trying to do chest and back in 1 day, right? Like it's a lot.
Leg workouts for me now, like full leg workouts, like 2.5 hours, and it's like, is it really worth it? I could just be here an hour and like nail them out.
Yeah.
But I think the problem was I should have just stuck with what I knew in the beginning. Just keep doing. So I like more volume stuff. So if I can focus more on just that body part, I can really like get the sets and reps in. So I think next time I'll just kind of implement a plan in the beginning instead of changing it.
Yeah,
because
stick with
that
it.
could have been an issue.
Yeah. What about cardio?
Cardio, obviously in the beginning, I think it was like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I didn't do any because I never dieted. So even switching to clean, I dropped quite a bit of weight in the beginning.
Just tidying food up.
Yeah. So as soon as it evened out, where there were like a few consecutive days where I wasn't really fluctuating, knew I had to switch something. So I just started playing around with carbs in the beginning. Like I just would like drop carbs by like 20.
Yeah.
Like not a lot, but enough.
Yep.
And then as soon as I didn't really want to go any lower, I started doing like 2 15-minute sessions and then 3 15-minute sessions, and then kind of just increasing it slowly, like only a couple minutes, because it. Some people know, a lot of people know that might be watching. If they, hammer cardio in the beginning, then when they're at the end, they're pretty well screwed because there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, your body gets used to it.
Yeah, so by the end, I think I was doing like at most an hour and a half. So like 1 hour session and a half-hour session, but that was like when I needed it, like necessary. But other than that, it was just like 245s.
Cool. What was your cardio of choice? Like, what would you do?
More stairs. Stairs was a big one in the beginning.
Right.
Especially because I was doing less leg days, so I figured, hey, I'm doing more leg work.
Yep.
And I held a lot of fat in my legs too, so I figured that could kind of bring some definition.
Yeah. Totally.
But by the end, it got a little tiring. So
it's a lot, Like even. Like, I start prepping a couple weeks, and, like, just now, like, after, like, a workout, like, my girlfriend and I will go on the stairs for, like, 10 minutes, and I'm dead. It's like, your body's got to get back, and, like, I was doing the same as you, right? I was up to, like, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and it's just, like, you're used to it, and then all of a sudden my body's like, what is this shit?
Yeah, and, like, once you get lower in food, too, it starts to suck even more. Like, in the beginning, you're like, oh, this is great. Like, I can do stairs this whole prep. And then you're like, I don't want to do stairs anymore. Like,
I'm out.
So, incline treadmill was kind of the other go-to.
Yep. That's popular.
That's the only other thing, like, I could really handle. But by the end, I found that it was really hard to, like, to sweat almost.
Yeah.
Because I was so low in body fats. So I would, like, really bundle up, and the incline treadmill wouldn't do it. So... That's another thing that I've kind of put in my memory bank, is next time maybe trying to really dig deep and just do stairs.
Yeah.
Because I sweat a lot on stairs, so that could really help.
Yep.
As well.
That's cool. Okay, going to diet a little bit. Tell me about your, so you started with the flexible dieting. Talk about that a little bit.
So in the beginning, I mean, I've learned a lot. Just kind of online, right? There's a lot of YouTubers that talk about flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, kind of stuff. So it's a pretty well-known thing. I also went to school as well, you know that, at Loyalist in Belleville.
Yep.
So I kind of learned a little bit through that as well.
Yep.
So it wasn't really structured. Like, I just kind of found, my calories and what I needed for macros, and I kind of worked it around that. So I wasn't like get up in the morning, eat this many eggs and this amount of, it was just like splitting up meals so then it would fit.
Yeah. Right? What were your starting macros? Do you remember?
Yeah. I have a book somewhere, but it was like 250 protein, like 300 carb or something, and like 85 fat. That's like a rough estimate. And then kind of slowly tapering that down. The carbs I kept, but the fats I moved. In the beginning, protein stayed basically the same the whole time. Even like when I went to carb cycling, it stayed.
Yep.
And then I kind of did that, but my upper body like came in like shredded, like way too shredded. So I don't know if it was like I was eating too low in the beginning or what.
It's funny how like your body responds, like how different body parts. Like for me, like you said, your upper body comes in. Mine is like the front of my body. Like I'll have like striations in my chest, my abs will be good, quads will be pretty lean, and then like I'll turn around and he's like, he's still got 8 weeks to go, and I'm like, it's so weird. Like it's so weird how everybody's different.
Yeah, I wish my upper body came in last, because legs is like, if you have nice legs on stage, it just
caps
makes
it
you
off.
look so good. Yeah, that was with me too. My like lower back kind of glute.
Love handles.
Like back shredded, like whole upper body's nice, and then legs are just like this brutal thing.
Just a blob.
We'll work around it. Yeah, blobs. But then I guess back to the nutrition thing. So carb cycling, we did like high days were about like 200, 250 in the beginning, and then we had like your refeed days were like 350. But that we did that like once a week for those 2 weeks before 3 weeks out.
Right.
And then low days were about like 150, 175. So that's kind of where we started.
Right.
And then it kind of ended up tapering down where the high days were like 150 and the low days were like 50. Yeah. And like it started getting pretty bad.
Good times, eh?
No, great times. Like I feel like, you get to like 3 weeks and you're just like zombie.
Yeah.
Like you just walk around and you're like, don't really know what's going on.
Well, I was explaining to like my girlfriend the other day, I was like, you can't, like, till you do it, like you can't even believe it. I said, like, you legit don't have the energy to even like answer a question. Like you can't think, like legit. There's like it'd be like the weekend, it'd be like, oh, like, do you want to go for a drive? And it's like, okay, like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Like, it's so
you don't
fatiguing.
Anything. You don't want to do anything.
No.
And it got really hard for me too, especially because like I have my girlfriend here as well, and she like obviously it was her first experience with it as well. So
that's tough.
It was tough, but she was really good with it. Like she would like pack meals and stuff for me, so it made it easier.
Yeah.
But I was really bad at a couple weeks out. There's a couple times where I like went to the kitchen and like binge. Like it was like bad too. And
that's risky.
Obviously, looking back on it, I'm like, if I didn't do that, I could have looked a lot better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens, Like sometimes it's just out of your control. Like you can do as much as you can. And obviously, looking back now, I know that it's something I can build from.
Yeah.
Like I did then, so next time, if I want to look good, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a learning experience, right? You learn.
Learned a ton.
Yeah.
So.
And you learn like what triggers you. Like for me, I'm pretty good at like I don't know, say like Christmas, right? Like family dinners and stuff. Like I'm pretty good at like just not caring. But then like there's some times where you're like at a restaurant and everybody's eating and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah. I was real bad for like peanut butter. Peanut butter was like, if I had peanut butter, it was not good. So I didn't buy it. Like I kept everything that I would binge out of the house.
Oh yeah, you got to.
And that was just, it got bad because I was just eating all plain stuff. My girlfriend would always complain like, oh, all you have around is like chicken and rice and egg whites.
Hey, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's right. But props to her for getting through it just as much as me. So
she's a trooper. Did you have any issues with like sleeping and stuff, like anything like that?
So in the beginning was obviously fine because the diet's not too bad, but about 3 weeks, like it got really bad where the insomnia really kicked in. Like I could fall asleep, but it was only for like an hour at a time.
Really, eh?
Yeah. So then I would wake up like every hour and like just kind of walk around a bit, and then I'd fall asleep for like a couple hours.
Yeah.
But never more than like probably 4 hours that I could fall asleep at a time. I'd always wake up. Every night I would wake up. There were times where I would wake up and like I couldn't get back to sleep, so I would just go do cardio. I was like, I'll just fill my time and go do some cardio. But then like you're up at like 3:30 in the morning, right? And then you're hungry after cardio, and you don't eat because then your meals by the end of the day are like you finish your last meal like 6, and you're like, damn it, like I have no food. So I kind of had to work around that too a little bit, but
it's funny, you learn like the tricks of the trade. Like you're like, okay, if I don't eat till this time, that means I could probably eat till like 8:30. I'm in bed by 9, and then I'm not hungry to eat. Like you literally try to plan like every hack that you can to get through it.
It's like when you're doing cardio, and you're like, oh, I got half an hour. That's 2 15 minutes.
Yes, we're all the same. We are legit all the same.
Or the funniest thing I think I did the whole prep was in the morning when I was only having like a quarter cup of oatmeal. I literally had like the smallest spoon you could find, and I was like just eating like these little bites of meal.
I remember one of my meals was like oatmeal and like blueberries, and same thing. It was like maybe like half a cup or something, and I would legit like I cut my blueberries in half. I remember this. I had like half a cup of blueberries, and I remember cutting them and then putting them in the bowl, and then I would have like a little scoop with like half a blueberry. I'm like, I'm gonna make this last.
Yeah, you have to. It's like one of those mental things too that it just feels like more when it's actually less.
Yeah. But, and I would do like BCAAs, and I would make like slushies out of them.
Oh, I never thought of that.
So you like crush ice, get your BCAA mixed with water, and then you've got like, and like you can get a lot of it, and then you eat it, and it's like no calories, and it's like flavorful. So you're like, this is good, especially when it's hot out. Like it's a little hack.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna put that up here.
Yeah, it's key. Okay, so we talked about diet, talked about training. What did you find like the most difficult with your first show? Like, what was the biggest thing you were like, okay, I understand now why everybody says this is brutal, right? Like, I didn't know, like, you see, like, you're like, oh, how hard can it be, right? And you're probably the same as me. Like, I don't have, like, what's shredded? Like, I always had abs, right? So you didn't really have, like, a fully understanding of, like, how lean you had to get. And everybody's like, oh, it feels like garbage. Like, so what was your biggest, like, oh, wow, this is tricky?
The biggest one, obviously, other than the hurdle of actually signing up and being like, I'm doing this show, that was the very first hurdle. But the biggest one was really digging into the low carb and nutrition, because I always thought I was like, oh, I could lose 10 pounds and be ready for the stage. That's not true, for one. Like, 15, 20 at most for some people if you really want to look like shredded, like to the bone. That's
I lose 30.
Yeah.
I averaged 30 my last like 2 shows.
Yeah, so you really have to like get lean. Like, it's crazy. And a big one that I found too is as soon as you kind of start having your glutes come in, you know that you're like you're getting there.
Yeah, that's the last bit.
So the biggest challenge, I think, for show, obviously, was the nerves.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it was, oh, this diet's going to be easy. And then, shit, this diet is really not easy.
Yeah.
Like, diet is what makes or breaks you. Like, if you can't do the diet, then the sport's not for you. And obviously, I cheated a little bit on my diet. It happens. But, I mean, it was an experience to learn from.
Yeah.
And, I mean, people that haven't done a show, people that are watching, stick to your damn diets because
it's key.
Yeah, because if you don't cheat, you'll look back on it and be like, damn, like, I'm tough as nails. Yeah. But if you cheat, then you're like, shit, I probably lost that show because of it.
Yeah. Walk me through a show day for you. So it's your first show. You know, like you wake up early because you can't sleep and you're excited. You get some food in you. You get that second tan. Run me through that whole process. How are you feeling? How's everything going? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Is there family there? Go into all that.
Okay, so we'll take it back a day to the day of weigh-ins because that's kind of where the whole thing came together.
Friday night, right?
Yeah, so like Friday morning to the weigh-ins Friday night.
Okay.
And then Saturday. So Friday morning, I was over my weight that I needed to weigh in at. So that was the first issue. So I was like, damn, like, I can't
freaking out.
Yeah, I was kind of like, damn it. Like, so I couldn't start carving up or anything because I had to drop the weight that I needed. It was like 5 pounds or something. So it was basically like the whole day until 6 o'clock. My weigh-ins was like drinking like I had like 200 milliliters of water or something.
Yeah,
that's all.
Just sipping the bare minimum.
Yep, the bare minimum, and an espresso shot too in the morning. That helped. But that was basically Friday, right? So then I'm super depleted, like haven't eaten a day.
Yeah.
And then I make my weight. So then 6 o'clock, I'm like eating. Like,
what'd you make your weight by? Do you remember?
Yeah, so I had to be 176 and a quarter, and I weighed in like 174 and a half.
You made it.
So I was like, I had some leeway. Like I probably could have still ate a little bit before.
Yep.
And not had any water, so then the carbs didn't bloat me or anything. But I didn't do that because didn't want to mess that up. That was the big one. If I didn't make weight, I was pretty well let down. So then from there, I was super depleted. So I was like, okay, like I gotta start carbing up. So the whole Friday night, like so your burger, whatever, I had like 2 burgers and like just the typical.
Yeah, packed it in.
And then like every hour and a half, 2 hours, I was up in the night to eat because I needed to eat something because if I didn't have enough carbs, my show was at 10, so then I wouldn't have enough time. Like even if I was up at 4, I eat all the carbs I want, and they're not going to work because it takes like however long for your carbs to start working, like 24, 48 hours or something. So I was in a really bad window. So then I was up every day eating whatever. Then I was up at like 4.
Yep.
Show day eating and everything, and then we got to the show and started pumping up and stuff, and I just like I felt off.
Yeah.
I kind of knew, and I knew because I mean for people that don't know, prejudging, especially in an amateur show, it's not like the Olympia where they judge the finals and the prejudge. It's just basically all prejudge. Yeah. So if you go in there and you're off, you're done.
You're screwed. Yeah. You gotta. Yeah, I guess talk about that for real quick. If people don't know, I don't know, other places are different, but here in Canada anyways, we have prejudging in the mornings usually, and it's usually starts at 9, I'd say most shows, and probably goes till 11, and then finals aren't till usually 5 o'clock that evening, so then you have all day again, you're waiting, but like you just mentioned, if you don't make your mark that morning, you're pretty much screwed because they've got their thing, and they're like, okay, Jacob, he looks okay, second, right? But then by the night show, you might pop right up together, right? For you, especially, like if you eat more food all day, but then it's kind of game over. If it's really close, I've heard that they will kind of make some last minute decisions, but yeah, from my understanding, you got to hit it in the morning.
Yeah, so that was the tough part, and I think because of the carbs, it kind of made me hold water too. Right. So, because I remember when I got there on Friday with, like, I was super water depleted, like, didn't eat or whatever. Like, I was, like, the most shredded I've ever been. Like, my glutes were, like, ripped up. I was like, okay, like, this is nuts. And then as I started eating food going into the prejudging, it just started fading away. So, like, that's where I it kind of lost. I think because I was eating so much in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And like,
did you get bloated and stuff?
With the water, it just kind of made me, hold a little film, especially on my legs too. My legs, like, they were crazy before, and they just kind of washed out.
Right.
So that was kind of disappointing because I knew, like, as soon as I saw like the pictures after prejudge, I knew I was like, damn,
shit.
like I missed it, and then that I wasn't disappointed, like because I knew that I was still gonna get a medal. I was like, okay, I know where I'm gonna place, because you kind of obviously where they're placing you on the stage, where kind of you're gonna land.
Yeah, where you fall.
So I was happy. I was like, okay, like I still managed to get through it. I got on the stage. I did it. Like,
how many were in your class?
There's only 3. So obviously, like if you place it out, I basically got last if it's out of the 3. But another thing that kind of played a role was the age of everybody.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like especially like in the open classes, right? Like it's if you're 23, like you're probably one of the younger guys, right? And you've been like, how long have you been training for? Like how long have you been in the gym, like quote unquote bodybuilding?
Couple years. If you put like consistently like bodybuilding, like want to train for a competition, like a year.
Yeah, so I mean like, and like you got to, as hard as it is to swallow, it's like, okay, like relatively speaking, like, okay, I've put in this much work, this much effort, and like for my first show, I looked good, right? Like that's the mindset you got to have going into it. So kudos to you for taking that into consideration.
Yeah, it's obviously too with bodybuilding shows, it's all it's apples and oranges too, right? It's basically the judge things, and I talked to the judges after, which is kind of a good thing to do to kind of get some critique.
Yep.
And obviously, since it's a panel, if there's, let's say, 3 of them want me third and 2 of them want me second, I'm going to be third.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the reality of it. And like, even like at nationals, I think we had like 8 judges, right? So like 5 of them can say you look great, and 3 of them can say you look like shit, and it's always a war of words, right? So it is. It's a tough sport sometimes.
Yeah, it sucked, but I mean, obviously I can sit here and be like, oh, I looked way better. I looked way better, and like for the guy in second, like I was bigger, but he had a little bit better legs.
Yeah,
that's what they might have looked for, but other than that, like I had the size because I came in because I had to cut down so much to make that weight.
Yep.
So I was bigger than the guys. They just had more conditioning. So obviously the conditioning was what they wanted.
Awesome. But did you get any other feedback?
Pardon me?
Did you get any other feedback from the judges when you talked to them?
Yeah. So they basically, a lot of them said that my conditioning, obviously the first one they weren't the best.
Yep.
And then they just said to really bring in more sweep to my legs. Like my legs were pretty good as it was, but they didn't match. It was funny. They said it didn't match my upper body. So obviously,
how ironic, eh?
Made my it was ironic. It made my upper body bigger than my legs as we got closer. Yeah. But they just said kind of detail, just bringing in a little more thickness.
Yep.
In the quads, and then just
everything.
back.
That's literally like anybody you talk to. It's like, what do you need to improve on? Everything can get better.
Yeah. Well, at this point too, like, and in open bodybuilding, like that is what it is. Like you just have to put on size. It's not putting more here or there, because some of these guys are so big.
Oh.
And like, I mean, they're like 27, 28, which is like kind of leaves a smile on my face, because I'm like, oh, I have all this time to like
get
for sure before they ever did.
Yeah.
And it's like I really have to be patient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a long game, man. It's a long game.
It's long, and I mean, I've kind of thrown some ideas out there, maybe hints to some people that kind of follow my Instagram. I've thought about trying classics, so we'll kind of keep that in everyone's mind.
Okay, hold that thought right now. Talk about your goals. What's next for you? So you clearly threw that cat out of the bag early if you want to do classic. So tell me about what you're looking for in the next, I don't know. You got rest of 2018 and 2019. What's on your radar?
So right now, as it stands, it's more of just really focusing on putting on size. Like that's a big one. I know, like, obviously I want to eventually try and go pro. Like that's the main goal. But like I know when
IFBB pro.
Pardon me?
IFBB,
yeah. But I know, like, being realistic, like there's no way really in the next year, especially competing in 2019 season, I don't think it's really feasible for me to be able to get a pro card in men's open bodybuilding.
Yep.
It would be tough. Like unless somehow I just had this crazy shape at way less body weight, like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm between 5'8" and 5'9", so I think for classic, I think I can be up to 185 or 190 or something, which is on stage is a lot bigger than I was.
Yeah.
So I've kind of thrown around the idea. It's not a for sure, but also I would have to do another regional show if I wanted to qualify for a national show.
Right.
Again, so that could be in the works. I wanted to do Toronto. The idea was for me to take a year off, see how much size I could put on, do Toronto.
Bro, do Toronto next June. I'll see you there. I'm doing it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's not doing bodybuilding, I'm doing classic at Toronto. It's one or the other.
Cool.
So, that's
Toronto
kind of
Pro. People can watch you. How did your routine go, by the way? You didn't really touch on that, your posing routine.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, in the beginning, I had a lot of songs that I wanted to pick from.
It's nerve-wracking, eh? It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so bad, too. So, I guess kind of touching base on that. Bodybuilding, especially when you go to shows, it's like a family, right? So everybody went to the same crap, same diet, same everything to get there.
Yeah.
So the one thing that was really good about the show is that all the guys I was competing against and all the guys that were doing, bodybuilding were supportive.
Yeah.
So I didn't even feel nervous, going on stage. I walked out there, I was like, damn, I'm actually standing in front of 300-400 people right now with nothing on.
Yeah, yeah.
So the routine was really well. I really tried to, hit the bodybuilding poses, but to do more of a classic spin on it. So I tried to do a little more flow instead of just I'm hitting front last sprint. I'm hitting double, just simple stuff. I tried to do some hand movements where I was doing more classic stuff, opening up, down on one knee and stuff. I have a video of it actually. I could probably send it to you.
Yeah, send me that. I'd love to see it.
When it's done. But I think kind of that's where I kind of want to try classic because the posing. I like the posing, and I don't actually know if that posing could have hurt me doing bodybuilding because maybe that's not
maybe, eh?
What
you wonder about that stuff.
I always wonder, but I enjoyed the routine. It was fun, going through my prep, just trying to think of something crazy.
Yeah.
But you only have 1 minute, so you're kind of
you got to get it in.
But no, cool. It was fun. Sometimes it was really hard. Sometimes too, after your training session, to I want to pose.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. I could have worked on that. Posing, I got to work on for sure.
Right on, man. All right, dude. We're gonna finish this with a quick little rapid fire Q&A. What is your favorite body part to train?
Wow, legs, 100% legs.
What is 2 or 3 exercises you're always gonna do on leg day?
I'm gonna squat every time. Walking lunge, I'm gonna do every time.
Yep.
And obviously your extensions.
Cool.
Leg extension curls.
Go-to cheat meal.
Wow, that's a big one. I love wings and cheesecake, so nice. I mean, if I could just eat cheesecake, I'd be happy.
Cool. Biggest pet peeve in the gym?
Wow. Parents sit on their phone or just have a conversation and don't actually train.
Yeah. What is the exercise that gives you the most? I don't know if pleasure is the right word, but for me, when I get on that leg extension machine and go to can't move, that's just such a good feeling. Do you have anything like that?
I wouldn't say specific exercises, but working hard enough where you're lying on the floor in pain.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, last one. What is your biggest, 1 or 2 pieces of advice? Obviously, this is your first show, so you just lived it. What is your biggest 1 or 2 pieces of advice for someone getting ready for their first show or contemplating doing it?
Okay. So first piece is to, be confident in yourself. Take it all in stride. I mean, it's your first show, and you're going to be nervous, but in the end, it's going to be rewarding.
Yep.
And you're probably going to want to do it again. So,
yeah.
Just keep the blinders on. And the second one is, I mean, if you have a coach, then trust your coach.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
When you're getting really low, when you're getting tired, and you start contemplating, oh, I'm shrinking and all this stuff, you're not. It's part of the process. So I guess the second thing would be to trust the process every time, and you'll make it.
Sweet. That's awesome, man. All right, dude. Plug your Instagram, social media. Where can anybody find you, and they can follow this trip to Classic Physique?
Yeah, so I don't do really a lot of social media other than Instagram.
Okay.
So my Instagram is JacobLine10. Obviously, toss a follow, comment, give me critique, whatever. I can all take it. If you have any advice, then obviously give me that as well, and I'll take it in stride and maybe use it in the next show.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, this was good. Appreciate you doing this for me, and we'll definitely touch base again. We'll have to get a workout in soon. People that don't really know us, we're actually like an hour away from each other, so we'll have to definitely touch base sometime soon.
For sure, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Perfect. See you later, man.
See you. Bye.